for today is a first-generation Italian-Canadian immigrant who is a four-time Canadian hairstyling champion. He appeared at Oscar Week, Celebrity Apprentice, Miss USA, and Miss Universe. He is a guest on QVC and Shopping Channel Canada. He is also an amazing editorial stylist with Farouk Systems for advertising campaigns. My guest for today is Rocky Vitelli. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to see you and to connect with you in this crazy time.
Crazy time.
Yeah. So, Rocky, where are you originally from?
Okay, so I'm a first generation Italian-Canadian. I'm based in Toronto, Canada. And I've been here for all my life. Throughout my whole career, this was always my base of where in the salon that I worked in.
So what did your parents do when you were growing up?
So they were first generation, they were immigrants, Italian immigrants. My mom was a seamstress. My father worked in automotive, and they were like immigrants. They worked hard, and they really didn't they didn't have the ability to make a lot of money. They just did the best they can, and they had they retired very comfortably, and they have a beautiful home, and they had a good life, and they just instilled the fundamental values to myself and my brother on what you need to do to be successful, because to me they were successful. They came into a country, don't know the language, made an income, never needed any form of social assistance, and always paid the bills, and really they had a simple life, and they retired very well.
Wow, that's great to hear. I love that.
Yeah.
So what types of things did you guys do as a family, like when you were growing up?
I mean, I grew up in a really kind of that generation of immigrants that came in, and that time came from pretty much like a negative time of being. They went through very similar things in life, almost similar to what we're going through right now. It's very hard to stay positive when we're not allowed to make an income, we're not allowed to go to work. So they had a lot of their beliefs circled around negativity and stuff like that. Like it wasn't about, they didn't have the fundamentals that we have on how to continue to stay positive, and things are going to get better and things are going to get great. When we grew up, it was like if you had an idea and it wasn't really a great idea, they would tell you that's a horrible idea. Like it wasn't like how we would tell our children and explain to them, maybe even let them do it and see how they progress. And if it doesn't work out, they have a learning lesson behind it. So our parents protected us with the knowledge and the ability that they had of parenting. So just to give you an idea, my mom is 80. So that kind of era of parenting is much different than the parenting that we have now. We try to stay a lot more positive. I'm a lot more positive with my children and don't shut them down on any ideas they have. For example, a great example to share with you is my parents never wanted me to be a hairdresser. I mean, they're proud of me for being a hairstylist, but when I mentioned it to them, it was like, you're not going to make it. It's not going to work. It's an awful career. It's bad for you. You're not good enough for it. You're not going to make it. You need to be a doctor. You need to be a lawyer. Italian parents think every child is supposed to be a lawyer or a doctor.
Yeah.
But, I proved them wrong. And I said, well, you said you were going to pay for my education, and it's hairdressing. It's going to cost you not as it would cost you if I was going to university. Yeah. And my dad told me, he says, well, listen, you want to be a hairdresser? Go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But if you don't make it, I want my money back. And I'm going to take every penny of it back because I know you're not going to make it.
Wow.
So I think it was that portion of parenting that, as much as it was negative, there was also a piece of that when hairdressing did become hard for me, I never gave up, because I never wanted to let them down and never wanted them to tell me, I told you so. I told you you weren't going to do it. I told you you weren't going to make it as a hairdresser. I mean, I love my parents. It's just the way parenting was back then is much different than what it is now. And my parents are very proud of me for being a hairdresser. They're very proud of me for being a hairdresser and for everything I've done.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that story is pretty similar to a lot of the podcast guests that I have. A lot of people who are successful in our industry, it seems as though their parents not believing in them almost pushed them to thrive, which is a really sad story to tell. But unfortunately, it's true for a lot of us because I think the idea of hairdressing is, okay, great, you're going to make $2 or $3 an hour. It's not, they don't see the artist behind it and the potential, behind it.
Yeah, I mean, they're always looking for, that level of parenting. They're always looking for, maximum lawyers, doctors. I mean, I think the thought process behind it is to try to get your kids to be as successful as they can, but they don't know the success that you can have from working in a trade, and I think trades are a great avenue for people that may not want to go into universities and that sort of thing there. And I think there's a lot of tradespeople that make a lot of money. And, when you're looking at hairdressing, you're combining a trade, yes, but it's also an art. And you're also creative. You can be creative. So it becomes your inspiration, your drive. It also becomes your hobby. If you want to be great at it and hair becomes your hobby, the success is sky is the limit, really, for hairdressing. And that's what I truly, truly love about hairdressing is there's so many great fundamentals. You're your own boss. Yeah. So whether you're renting a chair, whether you own your own salon, whether you're on commission, the bottom line is you own your own boss. You're your own boss. You need to take care of every client that comes into your chair. Let them have the experience, not just your haircut. Experience meaning hang their coat up, bring them to the shampoo basin, shampoo their hair, walk them to your chair, have a proper consultation even beforehand, and let them feel the experience, because there are a lot of hairdressers that can give a good haircut, a good color, but sometimes a lot of us forget that it's the experience that you're going to give them, and it's so easy to give them that experience.
Yeah, I agree with that. So you touched a little bit on success, Rocky. At what point did you feel successful? How far into your career did you actually start to feel successful?
So I kind of always like to call myself a late bloomer, in a sense, where I struggled with hairdressing for probably the first 4 or 5 years, only because I was really hard on myself. I wanted to be able to do everything, and that was it. I don't want to have to learn anything else. I didn't know that hairdressing was a constant learning thing. So I thought that I want to be able to learn everything so I don't make any clients upset when they come to see me, and I'm able to stand my ground, and that's it. And then I'm going to take it easy and make money. But what I was finding, that things were always changing, things were always evolving. And it came to me that in order for me to be successful, I have to invest into my future on a regular basis. And also my craft, hairdressing, must also be one of my hobbies as well. Mm-hmm. So, and that's when I started finding that the success was coming, when I came to the revelation that it's not going to be like a job as an accountant, where these are the numbers, you got to move around and that's it. It's going to be something where you're constantly evolving, A, as a human being, and B, creatively, and also inspirationally. So you're actually becoming a different person from who you are when you start hairdressing to when you're in 10, 15, 20 years down the road. You're a totally different person. And that's what I love about our craft. For all these reasons, you grow into the person that you are.
Yeah, I love that so much. A lot of people, when I ask them that question, they say it usually takes around 10 to 15 years. That's usually the answer of when they start to feel and they start to see all the work that they put into their craft and all the time and dedication. That's when they really start to see it come full circle. And so it's not surprising to me that you would say those same numbers, because somebody who sticks it out and stays with it and pushes, it always does come back full circle. So I'm happy to hear you say that as well.
Absolutely. You're gonna have struggles along the way, but they're good struggles. Yeah. To me, there were times within the first 5 years that I could have given up, but I chose not to. And I'm really glad I didn't, because I look forward to going to work every single day. I mean, during these times now, it was very hard for me to stay home and not do hair because we've been shut down completely, and because of this whole coronavirus. But this also allowed me to understand something else. I was angry at first, but it also gave me an understanding that it's time to stop, reflect, and really enjoy the little things that we take for granted in life.
Yeah.
Like now we can't go shopping because we're angry, sad, or happy because they're closed. We're starting to deal with all these kind of little addictions that we had that couldn't keep us home with family and just sitting down watching a program. The things I used to do when I was a child, where there was no Sunday shopping, where the weekends were spent with your family, and sometimes you did nothing. You were just together on the couch or throwing a football or throwing a baseball, where I think the world changed and was moving so fast that we forgot about that. So this is what I'm taking from this whole Corona thing, is that it's time to slow down, and whether it takes a month or 2 months, the world is going to change after this. People are going to spend more time with their family and not so much get so into working and money and shopping and spending and forgetting about the necessities in life. Cooking, home cooked meals, good home cooked meals, sitting down, watching TV, reading a book, Netflix, anything, learning, even learning. Like you could go on YouTube now, and you know, as young hairdressers, I feel that some things are not on Instagram. Yeah. And I think young hairdressers need to know who the icons are of our industry. And a lot of people don't know who they are, or they don't care who they are. Right. And this is a great time during this time. Google people like Vidal Sassoon. Yeah. Read up on Vidal Sassoon. He was an important person in our industry. I meet people, young hairdressers, that couldn't care less. And it's totally wrong. It's so inspiring and beautiful to see where everything started. Or Trevor Sorby. Or even people like Farouk Shami as well, who's had a career as an immigrant and a beautiful career he had as well. So these are things as hairdressers that we could do now because time has stopped. Yeah. And when time stops, we need to continue to stay inspired as human beings and look forward to what life is going to bring us next. Yeah. So it's a great way of, you know, inspiring yourself with our craft, as well as spending time with family and really appreciating the little things in life that we took for granted and stopped doing, really.
Yeah. You know, Rocky, I handpick people to do this podcast with because I really think that there's people out there like you that your intention is good and your heart is pure and your message is real. And I appreciate you sharing your inspiration. You're so inspirational every single time that I get to work with you and Bradley. I'm so excited because you guys are so cool and it's real, you know, and you guys talk on stage and when you do your presentations, you guys talk about real stuff. You know, social media is a real thing, you know, that we're connected to all the time as hairdressers without a choice, but your choice is to have a little bit of discipline with it. And that's something that you're teaching a lot of people. And I really appreciate that. I think that that's so true and so real. We're going to get back to our families and connect with our families again. And everybody's going to have some sort of shift from this time with the coronavirus.
Absolutely. It's going to change. It's going to change everything, Colie. And I also think it's going to also change people's attitude on social media. I think social media became a place where it was all negative. I mean, someone always told me one time, if you have nothing good to say, don't say it. Yeah. When I see an incredible hairdresser on social media, and we don't need names, who's an icon and who happens to post something on social media and people are trashing his work or saying something negative about it, it's like, do you know who this guy is?
Right.
It's like, people, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say it. It makes you look dumb. Anybody who hates on social media is an insecure person. If you have nothing good to say, don't say it. I think what social media should be is a place, and all of the stuff that's going on, it's going to circle all back to that, because social media is going to change and people are going to show more love than hate, because where it was going, it was ridiculous. I mean, I've never said anything negative about anything that somebody posted on social media. I mean, you're dealing with people's feelings. You're dealing with, you know, if somebody puts something up and they think it's well done, why would I go there and say, oh, this is awful?
Right.
Like, think of the humanity. Think of the humanity here. This is why we are in the situation we are in. This is time to stop, reflect on who you are and how we should be treating our fellow humans.
Yeah.
Love one another.
Yeah.
Nobody would like anything negative to happen to them. And I mean, I'm sorry I'm taking it to the negative part of this kind of, but I think it's important that I think there's a lot of people that don't understand that social media can be a great thing, but it can also be something that if you're not using it properly, that I think the people that are constantly having the need to express themselves in a negative way and hurt other people doing it is totally wrong. And you're not doing the justification that you should be doing as a human being to another human being, because that person didn't do nothing to you.
Right. I agree with you 100%, and I appreciate that so much. I think it's really important for people to hear that, because I agree with you. It's the golden rule. You know, if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say it. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
So, Rocky, what types of things do you do to bring calmness into your life or to reflect? I mean, do you do yoga or meditation, anything like that?
Okay, so part of my regime every morning at 6 a.m. Well, now I can't because the gyms are closed, so I'll walk. I still haven't changed my morning regime. It clears my mind, gets me ready for work. I wake up at 6 a.m. I don't start work till 9:30. Wake up at 6 a.m. and go to the gym, do some cardio for 25 minutes, then do some weights for another half an hour, hit the showers, and off to work. It just clears my mind. And really, it's a combination of mental health and physical health that together will give you such an inspiration when you're in the workplace and give you that nice positive energy that you want to give to your clients. So to me, it's a combination of working mental and physical health, which is very important. I've been doing that for maybe the last 25 years now. When I go to the gym, I don't go there and work out like I'm training for the San Diego Chargers. I mean, I do stuff that is I'm not going to overexert myself. I'm almost 50. I do stuff that is very light weights. I don't even run. I'm walking, you know, a fast-paced walk for half an hour, just enough to get my heart rate and really get the energy flowing. And I have music on, or I just think to myself, but it's a way for me to be by myself before I go into my workplace, where all that positive energy has to be pumped into my clients, because that's why they come to see me. They come to see me because they want to leave there feeling great with a great haircut.
Right. Yeah, it's so true. I'm with you. I'm exactly the same way. I prefer to plug myself in either at the gym or doing some kind of meditation or something before I get my day started. And I have found that a lot of hairdressers are actually like that. We need to charge ourselves before we go into the salon and be able to charge everybody else. So I think that's a really, really great tip. But Rocky, I guess the last question I have for you is, what or who inspires you?
Oh, that's great. Oh my God. I mean, there's a lot of things that inspire me, you know, like you see that picture behind me?
Yes.
Like I love Marilyn Monroe. I've always loved Marilyn Monroe. She's someone that inspires me. Always had, you know, beautiful hairstyles. You know, even her figure, it transformed so many times, and she was always so well respected and loved. I mean, you know, art inspires me. Van Gogh, you know, I like going to museums. Things like fashion inspire me a lot. The fabrics in fashion. Runway inspires me a lot because I like watching runway shows. And I remember I was having this discussion with someone. It's like, yeah, but clients can't wear that hair. But it's not what you're getting from that. What you're looking at is maybe the way they have a fringe cut. I mean, you know, it's obviously a piece, but it's a fringe. So maybe the way the texture in that fringe is, you could take that piece. So you could take a piece of maybe what you're seeing on the runway and adapt it into how you would transform that into the salon. So things that inspire me are always things that are a little bit more progressive than just something that you would regularly see, that I could transform and make it my own kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that because a lot of my inspiration also comes from outside of the salon. I see things either in nature or, like you're saying, like fabric, something like that. It really sparks my interest, and then I sort of create it in my own mind, and what can I do with it? So that's really cool. I love that it comes from outside of the salon world, and then you bring it back.
I mean, yeah, especially with colors now, like when we want to do like more progressive and fashion colors, we'll look at the fabrics that are being used. So if we know like there's like that kind of rosy, pastel-y kind of orange kind of color, we can now put that into hair. Yeah. And now we took something from the runway. So there's always something from fashion that, you know, fashion has always inspired me. I love fashion hair when I'm styling hair as well. I love that kind of very loose, lots of texture hair. But we can get ideas from texture, curl patterns, and really colors as well, just from the fabrics and the styles being used.
Right. Well, Rocky, that's all the questions I have for you. I realize that time is extremely valuable. I hope that you are safe and well, and your family as well. And thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Thank you so much, Colie. It's my pleasure. Stay safe.